Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Basi. Good morning, Vimbai, Rufai. Oh yes, it's Friday, Rufai. We need it. To kick off, Vimbai, good morning. Trade deals. This very nice moment. You know, in Narendra Modi, everybody I think knows his humble beginnings as he used to sell tea. Tea boy. So there he is with Keir Starmer and Starmer's country residence. There's an Indian company, that's Akhil Patel, I think is his name, on the left in glasses. He has a company called, funny enough, I think it's Amala Chai, which is they make tea. They are based in the UK, and to commemorate this free trade pact that India and the UK have signed, they drank some tea, and so that was just part of the ceremonies. But they finally, this is 3 years in the making. What's his name? The two prior leaders were not able to actually. Boris Johnson and what's our Goldman Sachs guy? Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak. Neither of them. So this was 3 years. And look, Starmer. I mean, he got a deal with Trump before Modi. He's got a deal with Modi before Trump. So, I mean, India and the US are still trying to work things out in the UK, and they are flanked by their respective trade ministers there. So they still have to give us some more details. We know that duties on UK goods coming into India will be reduced, I think, about 3%. They want to boost their trade values. And it's essentially just, look, with the US looming in the background, everybody else has to keep, signing deals. To go to the ECB, Christine Lagarde warned, as the president of the European Central Bank, they held rates in place. They've cut rates now for 7 straight times. She did warn of, quote unquote, exceptional uncertainty because of the backdrop of, the EU trying to negotiate with the US. Tariffs are impacting companies. Volkswagen released their earnings this morning. They were talking about taking a hit and how their costs have gone up and their own margins are shrinking. We saw that with General Motors in the US. So they're going to take a wait-and-see approach, data-driven, the same language. But she did say that they have to hold now because things are a bit tight ahead. Oh my goodness, Donald Trump touring the Federal Reserve. This was TV gold. Let me say, you saw it.
Powell gave it back.
He gave it back to him. Made him look foolish.
Rufai has seen the clip, but let me set this up for our viewers. Everyone remembers how Trump ambushed Ramaphosa in the White House. He brought out some headlines. He brought out the kill the boa. He tried to do the same thing. So anyway, let me back up just for our viewers. Donald Trump, the latest attack on the Federal Reserve is that there are renovations on the Federal Reserve building, which is costing about $2.7 billion. He says it's high, they're spending money that we don't have, and so on and so forth. That's Tim Scott, who is the senator from I think Mississippi or so.
Trump boy.
He's a Trump boy. So that's the 3 of them. So check this out. This is what happened. Trump is there. Out of nowhere, he says, the renovations are actually $3.1 billion. You see Powell visibly shaking his head. He's like, no, that's not true. Where did you get that from? Trump now pulls out a paper from his breast pocket of his jacket and says, here, it's from you. Powell says, no, this is an old building that we renovated 5 years ago. You literally just added a 3rd building. And he pushed back. Here's the clip.
Oh, my God, Powell. My boy didn't sleep.
Or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2. This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a 3rd building is what that is. That's a 3rd building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's not new.
Trump didn't want to do it again.
Oh, God.
If he's getting too hot here, we have to pull out the hand.
No,
he told him he's lying right there. Who the heck do you are? You think it's Ramaphosa that's doing Wena? You think he's doing
Airtel Africa. We're very happy to have the CEO of Airtel Africa on the show yesterday. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. They, look at the highlights. Well, they bounced back almost 25% growth in revenues. Profit after tax look at that 408%. But the key thing, they're building one of the largest data centers in Africa in Nigeria. They say construction have started. It's part of their capital expenditure outlay of between $720 to $750 million. And they also, if you look at the revenue breakdown, data is where it is. Data has outstripped voice. 34% growth, even in volume and value, right, year on year. Also, Airtel Money, they want to spin it off as its own entity because it has been growing. So they're planning an IPO for the second half, I think, or first half of 2026. So that's going to be its own entity. And then I think remember this headline from Bloomberg saying that the SEC was querying First Holdco shares. Well, the SEC has come out and said that that is not the case, that they were just issuing an automatic check. This is Efe Ebelo, who is the head of external relations at the SEC, says it's important to note that the Commission's correspondence with the operators involved was not a query, rather it was an automated compliance mechanism designed to promote transparency and ensure proper conclusion of large transactions within the market. So that's the SEC stance. And we put the shares when Bloomberg put that headline, so it's I think it's only fair we now put the shares back after this, what happened yesterday. First Holdco, while it was the biggest drop among the Fugas that time when Bloomberg put the headline, it was the biggest gainer yesterday. By the way, the NGX is on fire, almost 30% year to date. So First Holdco was the top gainer among the banks yesterday. And then we've talked about decentralizing and the states. I think I have to shout out the Anambra State Governor Soludo, who is planning a stimulus for petty traders. I think when we talk about the common man, common woman, it needs to be decentralized to the state level. You see what's going on right now with Enugu State and Governor Mba cutting tariffs for, I know there's a lot of controversy there and back and forth, but cutting tariffs for Band A in Enugu. You've got Anambra now planning a stimulus for its petty traders. So imagine scaling that across the 36 states with everyone doing that. I think we should have a decentralized conversation.
You have done a project like that before?
Yeah, look, practical refi.
Okay, we still want to have a lot of time. But the important thing about the President of the United States visiting the Federal Reserve is that, one, it looks like intimidation to me. The Federal Reserve is going to sit Wednesday next week.
Yes, so.
And, Trump found a way of saying, I hope you reduce interest rate. After showing him a document saying you have spent $3.1 billion on a building. And Powell saying, that looks like a fifth building that was added. So it's just about intimidation, political games. But we don't have enough time to discuss this subject as we would have loved to.